Hey, what are you doing with that? Freeze! Police, arrest her! If I'm leaving Japan, can I take my sword out of Japan? Could I even bring it back into the country? Stay tuned to find out so that this does not happen to you at the airport. 講談師極度南春と申します。In Japan, a sword is considered bijutsuhin, a work of art, not a bukki, a weapon. All swords must have a registration card identifying it as a work of art as directed in the juutouhou, or the law regarding firearms and swords. A lot of people think that when you buy a sword for EI or for even decoration, you need to register that sword with the police. That's not true if your sword has a registration card already. If your sword already has a registration card, your newly acquired sword is registered with the Board of Education. If the sword moves between owners, you must report that to the BOE that's listed on the registration card. Mine was registered in Osaka, so I had to contact the Osaka BOE. This registration card must be with your sword at all times. Without it, your sword will be viewed as a weapon. If you lose your card, don't lose your card. If you move house inside Japan, you must send a change of address postcard to your BOE, and a copy of that is found in this book. A list of BOEs for address transfers is also found here. This book is found on Amazon, and I have linked it below. This should be a must-have for all sword owners inside and outside of Japan. The short answer is yes, but I have heard that some countries do not allow weapons and swords to pass their borders, so please make sure that your country's laws will allow you to pass your sword through the border. If your sword is registered as a national treasure or an important cultural property, it cannot leave Japan. If you're leaving Japan with your sword, there is a procedure that you must follow as stated in the juutouhou. The procedure is very simple, but it's extremely important. If you don't do it, you might get into a lot of trouble. Details are found on the Tokyo Metropolitan BOE website, but for some reason are not written in English, even though they have an English language option on the website. You need to take your sword's registration card to the BOE and report to them that your sword is being exported out of Japan. And they will void the registration card that says that your sword is a work of art, but they're going to give you a receipt for that. Now you need to keep that receipt because you're going to need it when you put in the paperwork for exporting your sword out of Japan. The safest and most painless way to send your sword is by taking it to the post office main branch and sending it by EMS. Only the Japanese post office is allowed to handle swords. Side note, Japan will not allow you to bring in swords that were not forged in Japan. No double-edged longswords here, sir. Whether your sword arrives with you in cargo at an international airport, or if you send your sword back by EMS, the procedure is basically the same. When your sword arrives in customs, customs will identify the contents as a sword and will send it to be appraised at the international branch of the Japan Postal Service. You will receive a notice that the post office has received a sword and will have the details of when and where the appraisal will be. Don't lose this notice. Oh, this is the crazy part. Appraisals are done once every 2 months, so you may have to wait a while depending on when your sword was collected. Then, on the day of the appraisal, you need to go to the Japan Postal Service International Branch in Tokyo. Yes, you need to go to Tokyo in order to get your sword back. If your sword passes the procedure, you will receive the sword and the registration card. Then, have a welcome party for your sword because it has been through a lot. if you're not coming back to Japan, or even if you are coming back to Japan, it is fine for you to take your sword as long as it is not a national treasure or an important cultural property, and you've gone through all of the correct channels and gotten all of the correct paperwork. Now, it does seem like the procedure is just a little bit cumbersome, but I'm very surprised to learn that there is such a procedure that's very firmly in place and very clearly defined. It just goes to show you how the Japanese sword is respected by Japan today. But that's all I have for today. See you next time.
極度南春でございました。